Hello, y'all. Excuse me. I'm being driven crazy because I want to be able to get to sleep, but I can't sleep. I don't know why I can't sleep. But now that it's warmer here, um, it's actually officially summer. Excuse me. I have more nights where I can get to sleep out here. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But for some reason, I cannot sleep, and it's driving me crazy because if I can't sleep, then it's gonna be torture for me to try to go swimming. So I might have to cancel swimming because I can't sleep. So I feel hurt. Well, now that I cannot sleep, I might as well do a video. I hope that my mind is intact enough to talk about the subject or the topic with some multiple topics rolled in one, you know. So, excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me. So it's mainly about my OCD and certain things connected with my OCD. So I think it was it was a Saturday, April 12th of this year, almost 3 whole months ago, where I've talked about the bus drivers being disrespectful, gang stalkers and stuff, and like totally disrespecting my disability and everything. And act like this as if they want to try to force me to be normal. So, excuse me. So I had moments where, last summer, I had the altercation with that ghetto, narcissistic, fake, cruel, old hag perp bus driver. She was illegally perping with the red shirt. And she was just a driver, not one of the supervisors. And she threatened to have me wrongfully, permanently banned from riding the buses for sanitizing and spraying and disinfecting the seats. Now, that was the first time on the it's like, imagine riding the bus for months and having a severe OCD and PTSD, like complex PTSD, and sanitizing and spraying the seats every bus ride, like for months. And nobody say anything, and all of a sudden they just start picking on and harassing you and stuff like that, So a week later, I saw her at the fake Gretna Walmart and explained to her my situation. But she wasn't trying to honor or respect or understand my disability. She think that their rules override any exception with my disability or anything. And, because, like, when I had the altercation with her and I put on her on film, she acted like as if one of the passengers was trying to dictate to her to not let me ride the bus. So you're gonna sit there and let the passenger make rules for me, and I still to this day don't know who that fake coward perp passenger was that the bus driver listened to her to not allow me to ride the bus that day. and I'm not gonna say the bus number, but all the doggone seats are contaminated and ruined on that bus. And I feel tortured and uncomfortable and filthy riding that particular bus. Like all the seats are like tainted. Every seat. Excuse me. With homeless perps, and there's some of the other buses where homeless perps will, like, you know, have doo-doo on a seat or urine on a seat and or whatever other filth, and you want to criminalize me for you know, disinfecting and sanitizing the seat before sitting on it. So that's like with the fake airport bus driver before I got wrongfully permanently banned from the airport. You know, I would ride the airport bus just about every morning. And the bus driver will say absolutely nothing. Nothing. Zero complaints about the smell for like 2.5 months. And suddenly he come to want to say something, just pick a random day to start picking on and harassing me and stuff. And he was trying very hard to get the airport police to throw me in jail and everything. He made a big scene, and I had to film and record him, and he had a guilty look on his face. I called him a gang stalker to his face and everything. And then after the altercation, they had someone that sprayed body spray on the bus. They have had certain streetcar operators that made threats to wrongfully permanently ban me from riding the streetcars or the buses. Not so much the RTA buses, but the streetcars. The RTA bus drivers had never really complained, but the Jefferson Parish, you know, they started after several months of me riding the bus and them saying nothing. You know, all because one narcissistic fake perp passenger made a fake complaint about me. So, like about a week after the incident of when the lady threatened to permanently ban me from the Jefferson Parish buses, you know, I saw her at the fake Gretna Walmart, and she was wearing an orange shirt that morning. And then I explained to her my situation and everything like that. And then she tried to say that the main fear that people have is they think I'm a terrorist, and they think I'm gonna light the bus up on fire or something. I don't even have any matches or anything. You know, I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't have a lighter. I don't carry a lighter. I don't carry matches. But I used to like, now I use the 70% alcohol, but I like when I was living in Los Angeles and after getting raped those times, I realized that the hand sanitizer is too sticky and uncomfortable and feels like torture. You know, I guess what my so-called sensory issues, and that's why people think I might be on the autism spectrum. And excuse me. And you know, they had this bus driver that condemned me for pouring the alcohol and sanitizing, because Los Angeles is like 8 trillion times filthier than New Orleans, and New Orleans is more than filthy enough. And so she looked through the rear view mirror and condemned me and threatened to have me wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail for sanitizing with the rubber and alcohol. I've been suffering OCD. And and then she tried to tell me that that they would she tried to compare me to a terrorist that's ready to set off a bomb or something. I don't even think to do stuff like that, but Germex is the worst. Like and some of those, um, it's so sticky and thick. I hate it. And Purell is the closest to the regular rubbing alcohol. Um, but I figured I would just use the rubbing alcohol because, well, it's cheaper, I guess, and it goes a long way, and I have to use a lot of it, and it's and you know, it's more versatile, and I could, but I used to pour the 91% alcohol, and was been using it for years, but then in 2021, I think I switched over to start to use the 70%. So, but most of the times, nobody says anything, you know. But only like 3 occasions that I can think of where I've been wrongfully kicked out of and banned from places like restaurants or cafes for sanitizing and spraying with the rubbing alcohol or whatever. Most of the time, nobody says anything. Other times, people say that they respect me for having the desire to be extra clean. So when I saw that lady at the fake Walmart in Gretna, fake Gretna, that bus driver, she pretended to be fake nice, and she said, oh, that they'll think you're a terrorist and this and that, or they think you're gonna set off a bomb or whatever. And then she said, um, why don't you just put down a bag or something? She said, why don't you just start put down a bag or something? I already was carrying trash bags. Now, when I was in Pensacola, Florida, I don't think the bus drivers ever really complained about me sanitizing the seats. And the same thing in Cincinnati, Ohio. But there was a black, narcissistic, fake, power-hungry female bus driver in Kentucky. She made a fake complaint and try to, wrongfully attempt to try to kick me off the bus, and was on a power trip and everything like that. But all those times I sanitized and sprayed down the seats in Cincinnati, the bus drivers nor the passengers, nobody complained, nobody said nothing, you know. But so like in the years mainly like 2022, they had a bus driver. I would have altercations with her, and she was like way younger than me, and I think I had to put her on film during the altercation in 2022 because I would try to get on the bus, and the bus drivers would do it here. They know I'm disabled, and they figure they could bully and pick on me. So they don't wait for me to sanitize. I'm sorry. They don't wait for me to put the bag down on the bus. They continue just rolling the bus. Like in Pensacola, the bus drivers, almost all. She was the only one who didn't do that for me, but she was a perp, ghetto narcissistic, fake perp bully. And she will wait for everybody else to sit down, but I'm the only one that she just pulled off with the bus. And there was a couple other bus drivers. Hold up. See, he tried to walk all close by me, purple with a lot of red. So he's trying to distract me because I almost forgot where I was on what I was talking about. So yeah, the masculine, satanic sodomite Bridget Lowry bus driver in Pensacola. She was one of the perp bus drivers that would strategically wait till I'm about to sit down to hurry up and slam on, like, you know how people slam on the brakes? Well, she would slam on the gas on purpose to set me up to fall just before I could sit down. You know, and they would have certain perp bus drivers that would just do childish things, like do stuff like when we would be at a stoplight and the bus drivers would like keep on just like jerking the bus with the brakes, you know, on purpose just to be annoying, you know. So, but that other bus driver, the younger black ghetto perp female, I don't know her name, but me and her used to have altercations. She would not, now any other bus driver in Pensacola, they used to wait for you to completely sit down on the bus, to the transit bus, you know, and then they pull off after you completely sat down. But New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, they don't really do that, you know, wait for you to completely sit down. But I'm disabled, and as of April 12th of this year, I was forced to quit the bus drivers put me in predicaments where I was forced to just quit trying to protect myself with the trash bags, because you know, because it's like they would speed off and force me to plop down on a seat, and I end up getting dirty and freaking out, you know, on those dirty seats. And so, like, if people have a complaint, excuse me, they're making my nose itch. If they have a complaint, why don't they just open the windows on the bus? Excuse me. You know, until the smell goes away. But I was using way less rubbing alcohol if I can get on the bus and spray and sanitize, like, the seat that I'm sitting in and about half of each seat on each side of me. And then I could sit down and sit comfortably. But then they would have fake perp passengers that got all that space over there and then brush up against me or bump into me and my bags, you know, on purpose, you know, and making me upset and frustrated. And, you know, they'd be perps doing it on purpose because you got all that space over there. And it'd be like a whole empty aisle on the other side. No seats, the whole row on the other side, and you come and bump into me. That's deliberate, malicious, and intentional. So, like, I would end up using like way less rubbing alcohol, utilizing, like, when I can just spray down the seat that I'm gonna sit in and then sit down, you know. And then if I use the trash bag, I end up sliding all over I can't use the trash bags no more because I end up sliding all over the place and feel afraid that I'm gonna fall off the seat. Especially when the bus driver makes certain turns, or like to get on the bridge and stuff like that, you know. and I end up sliding on the bags, sliding, excuse me. So then, like I left the hotel and just got done taking a shower that morning, got clean clothes, laundry, and then the moment I get on the bus driver pull off. I had to cuss her from A to Z. And then more fake perp bus drivers, just violating my OCD on purpose, you know. And another perping with a lot of red shirt, Masonic red and black shirt, and a red cup and black shoes. But anyway, and then later on, that perp bus driver that I put him on film a few weeks ago, the arrogant newbie that delusionally believes he's the veteran, the one who tried to harass me, excuse me, talking about that I should stop being rude and cussing people out and learn how to be polite and this and that. You've been rude to me since since I started riding the bus with you, so you don't tell me shit. But, if I don't want to be touched or whatever, no matter what city and state, especially ghetto people, of my own race of people, gang up on me and bully me, and they gang up on me and bully, harass, and have their fake session with me where they try to bully, harass, and laugh at me. Excuse me. And your own black people are the most unsympathetic to so-called mental health issues, or the least supportive, excuse me, and so many people like to weaponize fake mental health and all, excuse me, but so basically, I think I did start off using rubbing alcohol, like my junior year in high school, and then I started using sanitizer, and then I started using wipes or whatever, clean, always washing my hands so much. But I think they said the OCD started more like in junior high, more like 8th or ninth grade. Excuse me, I didn't realize I had OCD. But the psychiatrist used to talk about OCD and the tics and this and that, whatever. Tics meaning my Tourette's and stuff, I used to take Luvox for OCD. I'm not taking that no more. And I forgot what other medication they used to have me take for OCD. Excuse me, but clonidine, they said was a heart medication. They used to give me that for Tourette's. And they said that the Seroquel was more for like my depression and stuff, or Wellbutrin or Lexapro or Pax or whatever, supposed fake antidepressants, poison, Excuse me. So, and when I was in foster care, I wasn't on Wellbutrin. Dang, what's that other medication? Buspar. Yeah, because, like, I was on Buspar, Clonidine, and Luvox years ago, like my teenage years in foster care and stuff, That didn't stop my OCD. The foster mom used to use us as cleanup slaves, and we used to get told how nasty and trifling they thought we were. Or I have to hear narcissistic lectures about being nasty and unsanitary, or nothing was ever clean enough for them. Excuse me, and they would terrify and traumatize and torture and torment us with the over-exaggerated fake punishments if the house wasn't their kind of clean. when we were younger, if the dishes weren't there kind of washed or whatever. So all this stems from narcissistic abuse and foster care abuse. With them using us as cleanup slaves and nothing could be clean enough. And they would insult us and call us nasty. Wow. I hope y'all can hear me. Excuse me, but I got my earbuds in now. So yeah, I've been having OCD since probably junior high, and I used to wash my hands a lot. And I used to take a long time taking a shower, The earliest my Tourette's started more like in 6th grade. And the OCD started more like in 8th or 9th grade, something like that, And I heard it comes from PANDAS, PANDAS disorder. And I had strep throat and scarlet fever at 7 years old. Excuse me. So the foster mom had us traumatized and fearful of the punishments if the house wasn't her kind of clean, and she would keep us wrongfully just punished with cleaning up, and she wasn't the only one, enslaving us with chores. And that's what made me think we were considered victims of labor trafficking. And the only allowance was $20 a month. I heard that foster care allowance, we were supposed to get $37 a month. And the foster mom was just taking our money. Or she would look for excuses to not give the allowance. Excuse me, or punish us from dances, proms, field trips, this, that, whatever, Yeah. So then, before leaving Denton, Texas in 2011, I got off all my medication and my OCD started to get a whole lot better. Until I got raped. And then it got bad again. And then it got better again. And then I got raped by that Freemason in 2012. And then I got raped by another guy. And then it made my... for quite a few years, I felt like, the rubbing alcohol and cleaning and sanitation felt like it was my protection, Excuse me. And then, in 2015, 16, 17, I think it was 2015, that fake abusive Christian narc, Tracy Broadhurst, who spiritually abused me, and she and Lisa Ruby had weaponized my traumas against me. And Tracy Broadhurst made it like as if I'm gonna go to hell for having OCD and stuff, And then, or that my OCD is such sin or whatever. And then, so she made me feel like as if I had to be forced to tolerate being dirty. So from then on to, I guess I was kind of normal. And when I used to ride the buses, I used to remember what dirty person sat in what seat, or try to take note on what bus, on what seat what bus number and what seat on that bus number or whatever, and try to take mental note to not sit there anymore. And then, if a seat looked dirty, I wouldn't sit in it. Or if a seat looked kind of cleaner, then I would feel comfortable sitting in it. Um, but now, like, they just got brand new buses last year and this year for both the Jefferson Transit and the RTA. The new buses that they got last year, I mean, the new bus, the brand new buses, it's like dirty and vandalized already. So, even the smack brand new buses, I be feeling like icky, and it's like, wow, dirty already. Um, so, excuse me. But yeah, and so then I guess I don't remember having like bad compulsions in 2017, 18, 19, whatever. I guess I was normal or whatever. But then the last rape in 2020, in March 6, 2020, and that guy was a multi-time criminal anyway. I didn't know that until after the rape. And then that was the last rape experience that I've had. And he was a burnt guy younger than me. And and then that thing that happened in 2020. And it was torture because my menstrual period didn't come for like almost a month. And I was afraid that I was pregnant. And thankfully, I'm glad he did not get me pregnant. So, I was relieved to find out that I was not pregnant. But my menstrual period came super late. And then the OCD like got bad again, like really bad again. And I went back to the sanitizers and rubbing alcohol. And I don't buy sanitizer anymore, just the rubbing alcohol. And sometimes I use the wipes. You know. And it's like I'll be just stay to myself and mind my own business. Like one of the videos I'm uploading, a video of me, telling y'all about a perp. He passed by the second time and just left me alone and kept going. But yeah, I mean, if they had a perp that offered me to prostitute, and talking about you want to make some money, you look like trash your damn self. Well, how much money could you offer me? If you don't look like you're not driving around in Volvos and Mercedes and Bentleys or whatever, You don't have Ferraris and stuff. You on a freaking raggedy, dirty bike. You look like you could be homeless yourself. How do they have people who appear to be homeless like me and offering me to prostitute talking about you want to make some money? And they offer it for cheap. And it's so degrading and disrespectful that they would want for me to go down on them for $2. I don't do stuff like that. I never got paid any money in my life in exchange for sexual activities. And I never consented to anything like that. I mean, I guess they must think that a $2 whore must really exist to them. So, like, I'm you know, it seems like 91% rubbing alcohol it ruins stuff. It ruins stuff more easily, but 70% it takes a lot for for surfaces to get ruined. Every once in a while, it might get ruined easily, but most of the time they don't. But um, but it's strange that when I use the wipes with the same rubbing alcohol, um, it doesn't discolor surfaces or nothing when I use the wipes. But the wipes dry out fast, so I have to add extra of the alcohol to moisten it up. But yeah, it seemed like April 14th, that Monday of this year, it seemed like I was forced to sort of let my OCD guard down, because it's like, since I can't spray and sanitize, like, excuse me, if I spray and sanitize the seat on the bus, it could probably take like about half of this little bottle, or less than half. But I got my bags to sanitize and spray. I got my clothes and everything. And then the seat, whatever bench I'm sitting on, and that takes like a bottle and a half to 2 bottles of the rubbing alcohol. Now I got 3 bags instead of 2 bags to spray now. Excuse me. So I like, you know, I know that I know, like, for to spray like 2 bottles, 2 whole big bottles every bus ride. I mean, after every bus ride, and get off the bus and just start spraying and sanitizing myself, because I can't change clothes. I don't have a home to change clothes, or excuse me, or get a shower or nothing. You know, I don't get to, like, change clothes. I have a shower or nothing. So I don't get that convenience. So then excuse me, yeah, like, a lot of times, if I might have to no, actually, well, it was 3 places that I got wrongfully kicked out of, but one place that just told me something. And I said, well, is it okay if I use the wipes? They said, well, yeah, you can use the wipes. But even if I wipe down the seat, sometimes the bus driver will say something. But then they continue moving the bus, and I'm nearly about to fall, and all my belongings, trying to wipe down the seat. You know. So, excuse me, it's very hard and challenging, and I wish I had my own vehicle so I wouldn't have to deal with this. excuse me, and it's torture to be forced to ride the bus and can't sanitize or clean myself, you know. Excuse me. And um so like even like yesterday I felt like I was struggling and couldn't wait to sanitize and clean all myself off, you know. And sanitize and spray my whole dress, my shoes, my socks, all three of my bags, the seat that I was sitting on, and they kept having perps to bump into me, and homeless perps, bump into me, homeless and non-homeless perps to bump into me or invade my personal space when you got all that walking space over there, you know. Excuse me, and dealing with so many flies harassing me and won't leave me alone, just like the stalkers, you know. So it's like a challenge for me to, sit on the ground and then stand up and go walk like normal. As like I would feel like I'm on the verge of like a meltdown or a severe panic attack or meltdown if I can't clean myself or sanitize myself, And then I forgot how I was gonna talk about the topic of tying this into music, you know. Excuse me. So like I've done like videos in Pensacola before, around this time of the day probably. And when I would be in Pensacola and, talk about my OCD and the music thing and the unwanted intrusive thoughts, with the music and whatever. So like um so like I recently started to get a little, well, I like with my OCD being back to being more severe. I no longer really listen to my favorite songs while riding the bus, because it will frustrate me, me riding the bus and listening to my favorite song and dealing with perps bumping into me and me getting upset and stuff. And also, like when I was in Pensacola, I would try to, with my OCD, if I'm wrongfully kicked out of and banned from a certain place of business due to the narcissistic abuse and gang stalking, I would like maybe pause the song but I don't like pausing my songs or pausing my music when I listen to it, I like to play the song straight through. I guess it's the OCD thing that I hate to pause a song in the middle and then go back to playing it. I get mad and get frustrated and then got to start the whole song all over again. So like, for me being wrongfully permanently banned from all those hotels and motels and certain restaurants and stuff, even when I was in Pensacola, like, I would try to avoid listening to my favorite songs while I'm passing by, a place of business like a hotel where I'm wrongfully banned from or whatever, And and now like I was I felt like I needed to do like a spiritual detox and a music detox. And went for I don't know how many years, like from 2021, I think, all the way through last year, I think. No, I was listening to some music in 2023, but I stopped and went to listen to no music. And then May, it was a Saturday, I forgot it was May 11th or 12th. I think it was a Saturday, May 11th of last year. I just remembered it was the second Saturday of May of last year. I think it was May 11th. I don't think it was the 12th. I think the 12th was a Sunday, and I think that was Mother's Day, or I could be wrong. But anyway, excuse me, I probably was. It probably was around the time I was got wrongfully banned from the library for a couple of days. I don't remember. But anyway, it was sometime around last year, May of last year. I went back to for the first time I was listening to music in 2023. Yeah. And so like May of last year, I was listening to started back listening to my Christian songs again. And then like May 17th was a Friday. Okay, so yeah, May 11th was a Saturday. Yeah. So Friday, May 17th, I was at the La Quinta in Gretna, and was listening to my Christian songs. Oh, what happened after that? Like June 3rd, there was the La Quinta in Metairie that told me that I was, wrongfully, permanently banned from all Wyndham hotels and on a do not rent list. But, certain Wyndham hotels tell me that I'm not banned. And some of them tell me that I am banned. So, and I can't get to any customer service to tell me what is going on. Because the stalkers, they prank called right because they didn't want me to have a hotel room for the court date, and they wanted me to go to court being pissy and looking like trash, so that I could be discredited. After they illegally swatted me and had me wrongfully thrown in jail and all that, that's why they did that, and they even admitted that that's what they were doing, So. Excuse me. They didn't want me to have a hotel where I could freshen up and shower and rest and sleep and stuff. And they wanted me to go there dirty and agitated. And, so that's why they did what they did. And, but certain hotels I heard are independently owned and operated, and some of them are corporate. That's like with certain Denny's and IHOP and this, like certain Popeyes, it might be an independently owned and operated franchise, and then other parts might be part of a corporation or whatever. You never know. So I guess that's how that goes. But I had never tried to go back to any Wyndham hotels. So like now I feel like I don't even try to listen to my favorite songs in the hotel rooms anymore. Because then I don't want to have unwanted, like if I'm sitting out here, I don't want to have like unwanted intrusive thoughts while I'm listening to my music sitting here, and having unwanted intrusive thoughts about the fake narcissistic perp managers that wrongfully banned me from XYZ hotel or whatever, So yeah, like, and then excuse me, yeah, something else I was gonna say about the music and the buses. Oh, well, sometimes lately I've been back to listen to music like for the past like couple of months, I've been back to trying to, I guess, feel comfortable with listening to music while riding the bus. But if I pass by, if I know I'm about to, that the bus is gonna pass by a hotel or a restaurant that I know I'm wrongfully banned from, then I try to make sure I'm listening to a song that I really don't care that much for, or a song that I really don't like. If I'm in the middle of a song that's one of my favorite songs, like, and I pass by a place where I'm wrongfully banned from, and, that caused me great anxiety and upset, you know. But I listen to like the same songs like almost every day, but it's like I might listen to the song, each whatever song, once a day, but not get around to every song. But like I can't, like, I remember like um so basically, like, in 2000, May 11th 2024 was a Saturday. I started listening to my Christian songs, and then yeah, I got wrongfully banned from all Wyndham hotels after a couple of weeks. But I think it was July 20 something, late July of last year, and I got, I caved in and started listening to secular songs. And like within 2 hours, I got wrongfully banned from that fake gospel coffee shop on Poitras. Excuse me, that Kempton Hotel or whatever. And it was a mother and daughter satanic perp duo that picked a fight with me and violated my personal space and picked a fight with me and then lied on me and got me wrongfully kicked out of and banned from there. At first, I had no idea and didn't know why I was banned. And the fake manager, the abusive, narcissistic, fake, power-hungry manager would not tell me why. And and then the coffee shop manager got scared of the hotel manager. And, that Kyle guy. And I'm like, oh, Kyle, you sold your soul to the devil that quick? Or you got compromised? So, like, but then I was listening to secular music from, like, somewhere late July. It was that last Friday in July, I'll say that. Whenever that was. And I was at the Riverwalk listening to my songs, and I remember that one of my older MP3 players started to mess up really bad, and I couldn't play the songs or whatever. The MP3 player was messing up. And so, excuse me, and they don't sell those Craig MP3 players no more. And the Craig and Naxa, they were my favorite MP3 players, and they don't make them no more. And this MP3 player right here sucks. These used to be good back in 2022, but now I hate the way that they play. They cut off the first couple of seconds of each song, and it's very irritating to me. And so I was playing like a mixture of Christian and secular songs, or sometimes strictly secular songs. And then when I heard that Diddy went to jail for the freak-offs or whatever, I went back to not listening to secular music much anymore. But I listened to a few secular songs like about a couple of weeks ago, but about 5 or 6 songs. But and then excuse me, a lot of people say, oh, a lot of the songs you think might be the Christian songs, that might be, you got to be careful with that too, because, that might be the devil's spirit behind false Christian music. You know, sometimes it make me feel frustrated and feel false hopes, but excuse me, I try to stay away from the popular fakes like Kirk Franklin and Donnie McClurkin and Yolanda Adams and the Winans and all of them, But most of the time, but I try to listen to songs that where the people are not really that famous. But even certain gospel music, they seem like satanic sold out puppets pretending to be Christian. And they be right in your church too. Even your pastor be satanic Freemason pretending to be a Christian. 501c3. Yeah. So anyway, so like when growing up in foster care, if the foster sister Joni's brother James, he would listen to Sam Salter songs on repeat, or Jodeci or Drew Hill or whoever. But one time in 2006, he said, "When was the last time Aaliyah made an album?" I'm like, "What do you mean? 2001? She passed, she died or whatever." I didn't know she was murdered at that time, but well, he's like, "Well, you shouldn't be listening to her music no more. You shouldn't be listening to her music." And then the very next day, he wore a Notorious B.I.G. t-shirt. I'm like, why should you care what music I'm listening to? I'm listening to my earbuds. And the fake foster sister Shelly and all, then they were bullying and harassed me. I used to have like an iPod or MP3 player, listen to my music with my earbuds in. No one else can hear but me. And they would pick on me and harass and bully me and narcissistically demand. I would be 22 years old, 23, and they would demand an answer for what I'm listening to or who I'm listening to. Or try to police and control what music they think I should be listening to. And then that fake Lisa Rubin lady in 2015 trying to tell me, "Oh, you're going to go to hell for listening to Aaliyah," or whatever. Say, "Oh, now that you are a Christian, you should not be listening to her or her music." And then, but she let her fake slutty daughter go to Johnny Cash concerts. And they handpick what secular stuff they like. But be very controlling towards me, So, and then the fake foster step-niece Chastity, the foster step-niece Chastity, was an underage child. And try to tell me Avant is not, the R&B singer Avant. She's like, Avant is not somebody you should be listening to. Trying to copy off of James. But I went through a period like between 2019 and 2021 off and on listening to secular music, It seems like the free legal Christian song that I download, it's hard to find people that's not the popular fakes. Excuse me. And after 2018 was the last of the good music I was able to get. And now they're not even on that app anymore. I mean, on that website no more through the library. And now they got almost all of them is the popular fakes now. And the holier people seem like their music is hard to find. Their Christian music is hard to find, So, excuse me, but yeah, um, but like in 2010 on Twitter, um, 2010 on Twitter, people used to talk about what Nicki Minaj song or what Justin Bieber song they're listening to on repeat. So recently, like within the past couple of weeks ago, they had a perp on a bike that rode kind of close to me. But anyway, I try to figure out is there something wrong. And I used to do it throughout my life years ago, and listen to like the same one song on repeat like 5 times or something, or like back then if I used to listen to Mary J. Blige, Not Gonna Cry, 3 times in a row. But I feel like, I can't even listen to Mary J. Blige no more because of the freak-offs, the Diddy freak-offs. And Mariah Carey, she blood sacrificed her sister and mom on the same day that my biological brother Wyatt, I think he was blood sacrificed. On that same day, August 24th, the day before our birthday, the day before me and my twin sister's birthday. So, here's a perp smoking. But, so it's like, wow, I can't like Mariah Carey songs no more. I don't feel right listening to her music no more. And it seemed like there were times when Mariah Carey was trying to fight against the Illuminati also. And Michael Jackson helped her. And he warned her, excuse me. And I heard that Phyllis Hyman warned Whitney Houston, And I heard that stories that Phyllis Hyman was like Kim Porter and Whitney Houston was like Cassie or whatever, Well, like with Diddy and Cassie and Kim Porter, whatever. They said that Diddy used to use Cassie. That Diddy used to, we saw that video of him kicking Cassie down the hallway. But that Diddy used to use Cassie and that Diddy used to use Cassie to taunt and harass and bully and pick on Kim Porter. And I think I heard that Diddy used to use Young Miami to pick on Cassie. And I heard that Clive Davis used Whitney Houston to pick on Phyllis Hyman or something like that, or that she was supposedly the next willing slave or whatever. But Whitney Houston was young, and they said Cassie was young. They weren't willing, but they were under heavier mind control, I guess, with the MK Ultra. So, Christian or not, like people on Twitter used to always talk about the songs they're listening to on repeat. But like, I'm minding my business, listening to my Christian songs, and I would have unwanted intrusive thoughts or fears or anxiety about what if I listen to this, am I crazy or something wrong with me, or am I doing something wrong if I listen to the same Christian song like 4 or 5 times. So I Google search and try to YouTube search, listen to the same song on repeat. And Google try to make it like, if you listen to the same song on repeat, you got mental illness. You must be autistic, or you must have this XYZ disorder, mental disorder. something I've been doing since childhood. If I would listen to, say for example, if I would listen to Janet Jackson's song "I Get Lonely," you know, 5 times or something like that. I'm just use that as a random example. What? How come it's okay for other people to do it and they're not considered crazy? Like if Joni's brother James would play Sam Salter's song "There You Are" and have it on repeat for 24 hours a day, all day, every day, without a break, blaring that song. But I'm going to hell if I listen to After 12 Before 6 just one time. You know, excuse me. Or if I listen to, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. When I'm going to say, what if I listen to a Christian Fanny Crosby song on repeat? He hideth my soul. What if I listen to that? Am I going to go to hell because I listened to it 5 times? I feel like, do I need someone's permission to listen to my songs in my MP3 player? What no one else got to hear? Am I wrong, or is it a crime? Well, I guess they want me to listen to no music at all, but they do stuff like perp me with an Aaliyah t-shirt and walk around with and want to try to force me to see it. And then if I film and record them, they make a fake big scene and I get wrongfully kicked out of and permanently banned from, XYZ restaurant or whatever, Or they mainly would do it every time I go to the mall. Mainly the mall. Each and every time, never fail. No matter what mall I go to. If it's Lakeside, Oakwood, the Riverwalk. Well, I'm wrongfully banned from the Riverwalk. And I got harassed by a fake power-hungry security guard with no name tag that claimed to be the manager. He told me that I was not banned, but y'all saw what he did to me. But some of y'all saw what he did to me. But I just have not been back to Lakeside since. And at the Riverwalk, the security guards used that. There was a point in 2023, in the earlier part of 2024, they used to love me. But then they switched out all the good security guards and replaced them with cruel, narcissistic, ghetto, fake power-hungry perps. And that supervisor, Fred Harris, they got him to compromise and go against me. And he also used to love me. He used to love me. And the people at the Riverwalk never got back to me. And I thought they just said I was banned from the Riverwalk for an indefinite amount of time. That until they could get stuff straightened out, and they never got back to me. So I don't even know if I'm still, it's been almost a year. And the stalkers strategically waited 10 days before me and my twin sister's birthday. 9 days before Wyatt's death, that I was told that I was wrongfully, banned from the Riverwalk and by the Creole Queen boat area. And a lot of the employees of the Creole Queen boat were satanic gang stalkers and Freemasons. And NOPD said that for me to be over there, it's more dangerous than over here. But at first I was told that it's more dangerous over here than over there. But Yeah, it's 5:04 in the morning. Um, and I'm just talking to pass the time. I cannot sleep. My anxiety is high, and my phone battery is at 38%. I gotta pee and have nowhere to go. So, and there was some other stuff I needed that slipped my mind or probably tucked in the back of my head that along this topic or subject, Um, but yeah, if no one else is hearing what I'm listening to in my own ears, and I'm 41, almost 42 years old, whose permission do I need to listen to, a Christian song, trust in the Lord 5 times if I want to? Excuse me. Or what, are y'all going to tell me do not listen to Psalms chapter 45 5 times? Or, don't listen to Psalm 91 10 times. Oh, you only can do it once. And after that, it's successive, or you're going to hell. You know what I mean? People would try to encourage me to listen to or read Psalm 91 every day, or Psalm 23 every day. The Lord is my shepherd. I thought it was going to take me 3 hours to talk about all this, but it took me less than an hour and 15 minutes. But I guess I feel more confident I'm glad I was able to vent and release, you know. So yeah, certain people are wondering, why do I just sit and ride the bus like normal, no more trash bags and no more spraying or whatever. It's like I gotta be forced to wait till I get off the bus to spray and sanitize all my belongings and take 2 bottles of the rubbing alcohol. And I try to find ways to reduce it, you know. Or if I just gotta let myself be dirty, you know, or wait till I'm in a safe spot where I can sanitize or spray or whatever, But it was getting really bad, and I had to try to find ways to reduce, you know, the compulsions. But people, no, it's like people they should not have abused or traumatized me. So I'm gonna get off here because my battery's getting lower, and yeah. But I love y'all. Thanks for listening to me. I'll see y'all.